As you may know, I start off with some very difficult questions like, are you a coffee drinker?
Yes, I am, but it's kind of a frou-frou kind of coffee. I like a mocha, preferably from Starbucks. But if it's a venti, I only want 4 pumps of mocha because I'm cutting back, right? Instead of 5, I want to do 4 pumps.
And is this an everyday thing, or is this a once a week thing, or what is the ritual?
On a good day, it's multiple times a day.
Okay. And is there a time you have to stop drinking coffee, otherwise you won't be able to sleep at night?
I do usually flip to decaf after 6 o'clock.
Okay. All right. So you're going on the caffeine pretty strong every day.
Yes, sir.
What about, do you have a favorite movie?
And I love the original Matrix movie.
Okay, interesting. What do you love about it?
I don't know. I think it was, for me, it was a combination of great story and great cinematography. And in many ways, I don't know if it was technically groundbreaking, but it felt like groundbreaking cinematography with great story. And, I feel like a lot of the movies that I see, the story's okay or the cinematography's okay, but when you can put those together, I think it's quite magical.
Fantastic. What about, what is your favorite menu item at Chick-fil-A?
I love them all, of course, but my favorite would have to be the nuggets. I'm a nuggets guy.
You're a nuggets guy. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. How long have you been working for Chick-fil-A now?
I have been on staff about 44 years. I worked a short period in the restaurant, one of the local restaurants before that. So closing in on 45 years total.
Okay, very good. And correct me if I'm wrong, but do I remember correctly, you started with them as an hourly employee?
Yes, I started working in the warehouse. Truett Cathy hired me, the founder, which makes no sense to people until you put it in context. This was, again, almost 45 years ago, and Chick-fil-A was not that big a deal. I learned during the interview process, which, by the way, was one interview with Truett, and he asked me 2 questions. But during the interview process, I learned that I was attempting to become the 16th employee. And so, which that makes sense why Truett would do the interviewing, right? If you've got only 15 employees, the head man or the head woman is probably the one doing the interviews.
Wow. Do you remember what the 2 questions were?
Oh, I do. He said, why do you want a job? I told him I wanted a job working in the warehouse because I knew they had a warehouse. And I was, a young kid at the time. And he said, why do you want to work in our warehouse? And I said, because I really don't have any skills. And I thought it would be inappropriate to ask for a job in marketing or human resources. So he kind of looked at me kind of like, oh, well, that's an interesting answer. Then the second question was, who have you been talking to? And I remember thinking as a kid, that was a really hard question. So I said, who have I been talking to about what, sir? And he said, who have you been talking to about working in our warehouse? And I said, no one. And he said, well, somebody quit yesterday. I guess you can have the job.
Wow.
So I tell people it was a combination of God's grace and lack of discernment on Truett's part that he gave me that job in the warehouse 45 years ago.